Yo, what is going on, guys? Welcome back to the channel. Hope we're all having a great day today and we're all doing well. Now, if you guys have seen my last video, you know it was about the Tachanka rework and some gameplay of it. I'll look at the elite skin and everything cool like that. And you know, the video's doing very well, so thank you everyone. And you know, when I was making that video and when I'm thinking about it now, I was kind of thinking, you know, Tachanka is really the first major rework we've had for operators. Now, the term rework has kind of been thrown around a lot. For example, like the new Thatcher change, I've kind of been calling it a rework, and a lot of other people have kind of been calling it a rework. And to an extent it is. They are reworking how his EMP works. And, you know, it technically is a rework, but it's not a rework on the scale of the new Tachanka rework that's coming out. And so I wanted to kind of, you know, take a look at maybe some other operators that maybe get a major rework like Tachanka. You know, as far as I can think of, there isn't that need is such a drastic change as Tachanka did, because there's some operators which I'm gonna get into, which I feel, you know, there could be like some little substantial change to their gadget, but not to the point where it's Tachanka and they need a brand new gadget for them to actually even be a viable operator. And that, you know, that itself kind of just really showed how dare I say bad Tachanka actually was, to the fact where they actually had to give him a brand new entire gadget and new weapon, technically new primary weapon, to make him a viable operator. But we are getting the Tachanka rework. Like I said, if you have not seen my last video, definitely go check it out. It's very good. It's very cool to see the gameplay and everything of the Tachanka rework. But you know, reworks are something that are relatively new. We've had map reworks since Hereford Base. You know, great rework that was. But we have reworks of, you know, they're not the newest thing ever when it comes to maps, I guess. But operator reworks and core mechanic reworks are something new. So that is kind of what they really were getting into at the Year 5 panel, at the reveal of Year 5 and Year 6 at the recent Siege Invitational. And they were going into how they're going to kind of slow down on content a bit and go back and rework maps, rework core mechanics, and rework operators. Yeah, like I just said there, we've had reworked maps since Hereford, so we're nothing new to that. Tachanka is going to be the first time we're going to get a major operator rework. Like I said about Thatcher and everything, the term rework kind of gets thrown around a lot when it comes to operators. So there's only really one big major rework, and that is obviously Tachanka. And obviously you've got the core aspect reworks, which I technically say is what the new scopes are. So if you don't know, the new scopes that are coming in Operation Shadow Legacy, the ones where it's they've added new holographic, new red dot, and now magnifications. There's all new magnifications. You've got 1.5 times, 2 times, 2.5 times, and 3 times as all different scopes. I'd technically say that as a kind of core aspect rework of the whole scope system in the game. We're also going to be getting some sound changes to the game as well. They're going to try and make sound more consistent and less buggy, the way it's the way the data is in the game or something like that. I'm not sure how they really explained it, but we don't really even know. We don't really need to know how they're going to do it. We just got to know that they are going to do it. So like stuff like that they're going to be reworking sound and everything. So there are major reworks coming. So definitely Tachanka is 100%, I guarantee Tachanka is not the last major operator rework. So I'm kind of going to throw around some thoughts of maybe some operators that may need this change, may need a major rework, or even a small rework, and obviously I'd like to hear everyone's thoughts in the comment section. So I'm kind of going to look at the most recent operator, like win delta graphs and ban rates and everything, and kind of take it from there, because they are very helpful in showing a pattern most of the time. And by most of the time, I mean there's some operators that are on these graphs very low down, which I would completely disagree that they need a rework. One of them I would say is Castle. On the operator graph, Castle, I believe he had a lower win rate than Tachanka. He had a bit more pick rate than, you know, Tachanka, Warden, Frost, Clash, Oryx, Capcan, Alibi, Rook and everything. So, you know, his pick rate is decent, but his win rate is the worst on defense. Now, you know, there's some number of reasons for that, I'd say. Castle, I'd like to say I'm someone who really knows how to use Castle effectively. That's something I kind of pride myself on. Castle, not really in Pro League, and maybe not in high ranks, but definitely in lower, mid-tier to lower ranks, Castle is one of the most slept upon defenders in the game, and I cannot urge enough how slept upon Castle is. If you have a really coordinated stack and you're playing around those castle barricades, especially if you have a mirror as well, he's phenomenal. I made a video a few months ago, and it was on Theme Park, and it was Party Room, and basically we had a mirror set up on the Party Room wall facing Bull in game side, and we shotgun opened Bull wall into games room. Not shotgunned enough that you could walk through, but so you could get a big line of sight, and we castled off the doorway between Bull and games. So this allowed me, as a mirror, or the castle, I can't remember if I was playing mirror or castle, but you know, same difference, team was coordinated, so it didn't really matter who was the mirror and who was the castle. But whoever played the mirror windows in the party room, they had a line of sight onto Bull window, so they could call out or prevent an entry from Bull window, because it's really daunting when there's a mirror window watching you like that. And they also had a line of sight all the way through Bull, all the way through the shotgun holes in Bull wall, all the way into games and everything, and the doorway was castled off, so even if they wanted to push, they really couldn't. And I'm pretty sure there was one of my discs in games anyway, so if they went for a quick Ash Breaching charge or Sophia charge, it would have caught that as well. So that, I'm just trying to get to the fact that Castle is so strong, and even though he's on the bottom of this list for the lowest winning defender in the game, he wins less than Clash and everything. And I'm not saying Clash is bad at all either. Clash is an incredibly strong operator in a coordinated stack, but it's just weird to think about that Castle is the lowest winning operator. But the point I was getting into there is, although these graphs are useful to go off operator reworks and everything, I don't think Castle needs a rework in any way, shape or form. Maybe an improvement to the UMP. I think that's one of the reasons why he has such a low win rate, because he's got such a good gadget and a kind of a weak primary weapon, but you know, he's got the super shorty secondary, which that improved him insanely well for lines of sights and everything, like I say. Not really for fragging that shotgun, it's more for utility based and stuff like that. So yeah, Castle, like I said, if you want to go off his graph, you'd kind of say, yeah, he looks like he needs a rework, but I would argue the fact that he doesn't. I want to kind of look at attackers, because, you know, Tachanka Rework, he's a defender and everything. So attackers, these things kind of stick out to me very, very, very obvious that, maybe these guys do need a rework. And that is kind of Glaz and Fuse. Now, it's kind of a trend here that a lot of the Russians are the ones that seem to be kind of failing in the game and not really living up to as much to the other operators and their counterparts. And I know this is kind of going to be like a little hot take, and I've not really got a lot of proof to my point, but I feel a reason why a lot of the Russians don't get played, and this is kind of my opinion and kind of why I don't play a lot of the Russians, is of course some of the gadgets are very lackluster. Kapkan isn't bad. I wouldn't say Kapkan's bad. Old Tachanka, obviously, we all know what Old Tachanka was like, but obviously he's getting his rework. Glaz is kind of a hit and miss now. Personally, I feel like Glaz is in his best position that he's been in terms of balancing. So I don't really know what they'd even do to Glaz, because we went through that stage where Glaz was the worst operator in the game. He was off the charts for being bad. He was the best entry fragger in the game, and then he went from bad to great to OP to everything, and now he's kind of in a middle ground where I personally think he's kind of balanced, but according to the win graphs and everything, obviously he's not living up to what he used to be, and he's actually doing worse than Fuse. And then yeah, going on to Fuse, I don't know about Fuse. The recent changes to Fuse I think have been great. His Fuse charges, so his cluster charges, the deployment of them, the speed of them, of actually placing them and deploying them was increased, so you could place them faster, so that was obviously safer from getting shot or nitrocelled from below. Breaching charges also got a change where they deployed faster. That wasn't just a Fuse change, that was just in general across the board. The breaching charges became more faster. And also he got an extra cluster round in the most recent patch update for the live build of the game. So on paper, Fuse is incredible. He's got He's got a gadget that he can put on the other side of the wall and it'll shoot a bunch of grenades in the room. He just got an extra one of those gadgets. He has fast deployment. He's got the freaking AK-12, which is one of the best guns in the game, as we've seen with Ace. Why is he performing one of the worst defenders on... one of the worst attackers in the game, not defenders, sorry. One of the worst attackers in the game when he's got such a great weapon, you know, on paper, such a great gadget. And honestly, I don't know. One of the big reasons, this is the point I was trying to make, I really think that Russian scopes are playing somewhat of an impact. I'm going to get into Fuse's gadget in a minute. I'm not saying the whole impact of why all the Russians are kind of a bit lackluster is because they have Russian scopes, but that puts me off personally. I like the AK-12 on Fuse and on Ace, but I don't know why. It's just so much better on Ace purely because of the scopes. I know there's people who like the Russian scopes, but I genuinely cannot stand using them. So that just pushes me off even playing those operators altogether, practically, purely because of the scopes of their weapons. I'm pretty sure on the test server, Fuse actually had the NATO sites. So the NATO sites are the sites that every operator has, the ones that aren't Russian sites. And apparently, sadly, that was a mistake, and they apparently have removed them in one of the recent test server patches, which is so sad because I really think Ubisoft for the next season, for Shadow Legacy, release Fuse on the live build for Shadow Legacy with NATO sites. Still give him the option for Russian sites, but release him with NATO sites and give it that 1.5 season or something, and just see how his pick rate changes. I would like to say I would guarantee you that Fuse's pick rate and win rate would go up by a small percentage at least if he had different sites. I may be wrong here, you may disagree with me, but that is, you know, I can see that happening. I can definitely see myself being more drawn to Fuse if I had the standard ACOG rather than the horrible Russian ACOG. That's just how I play. You may disagree, you may love the Russian sites, but I purely feel that what's holding all these Russian operators back is the site. And I'm going to move off from sites now, and I'm going to focus more on Fuse here with his cluster charges. Now, cluster charges, like I said, they've been made more safer recently, but they're still kind of a high risk, medium reward, I'd say. It's quite easy to dodge a cluster charge, but if you've got a very well coordinated team, the cluster charge isn't really what is going to be doing the killing. And by that I mean, if you have let's use Canal for an example. Canal bottom floor, you've got a Fuse by hatch and everything playing above, Fuse above. You've got all the stairways air jabbed or something, so the chance of the Fuse getting flanked from above or by the sides are pretty low to minimal. He can still maybe get nitrous held from below, but the way of him getting flanked is quite low. So the Fuse is playing above. You've got teammates pushing down sub, you've got teammates pushing down main stairs, someone pushing trench and everything, and you're getting a full pinch. If Fuse is playing above by hatch, he sets off a few cluster charges. Those enemies are going to try and move out of that position, and if you can move them into the hallway, that's when your teammates on the staircases or trench are going to be able to get some picks off on the people trying to run away from the cluster charges. So cluster charges aren't as simple as, you know, you put it in a site and you get a kill with it. It's for clearing areas. It's kind of like, you could kind of say it's a way of Capital. He does the same sort of job as Capital, obviously in a completely different way, but their end goals are still the same, is to clear out an area and push defenders to a different part. Obviously trying to get a pick on them, whether that's you or your teammates. But as we're aware, Capital does it so much better. So I don't really know how I change Fuse. I've seen a lot of people kind of throwing the concept of kind of making Fuse more like Ying, where he can still place it on soft walls and barricades and floors, and it will still shoot the grenades through, but he can also roll it into sight. I'm not really sure how that would work though. If it's going to be like a Candela and you roll it in and it starts exploding, I feel like that would be quite overpowered if you mix it with a Ying. Fuse is pretty good right now if you mix it with a Ying. But if you can linear attack with Ying and Fuse, you know, if she's thrown in a Candela and then Fuse is thrown in his like own version of the Candela, but his is explosives, that's going to be insane utility clear and operator clear. And I really just don't know how they're going to do it. Personally, I feel like that change could work, but it's something they really need to, you know, test with and everything. I would say that Fuse is probably the operator that most people and even Ubisoft have highest on their list for some sort of rework. Before they do anything drastic, I really do believe that they should do what I said and put the NATO scopes on him for the live build. So give him the normal scopes for the live build of Shadow Legacy when it launches. Give him about half a season or a season and just see how much that affects the win rate and pick rate of the operator. I truly believe that it would have some substantial effect to it. But if that maybe doesn't work and they do go down the road of maybe looking to change Fuse and make him more like a Ying sort of way where he can throw his like cluster charges as well as placing them, then maybe that's something interesting. Maybe that would make him more of a viable operator in a lot more situations. I guess we'll just have to wait and see what Ubisoft really have planned for the future, because I can definitely guarantee you Tachanka is not he's not going to be the final big operator rework in the game. But that is all I really wanted to talk about in this video. I do realise I have been rambling on for 16 minutes now, so I'm going to try and end it here. It just shows you how long I can sit and talk about Siege 4. I could honestly sit and make this video an hour long and not get bored or probably run out of things to talk about on a single topic. That's how intricate and good this game is. So if you actually have lasted this long in the video, let me know in the comments just saying I lasted till 16 minutes or something like that. And yeah, please do let me know your thoughts in the comment section below about a Fuse rework, or maybe a Glass rework, or any other rework that you'd maybe like to see in the game. Who knows? It's really confusing at this point. The game is so intricate and there's so many operators now that I really do not envy the balancing team. Yeah, but before making this video any longer, I'm going to wrap it up. So if you're new to the channel, be sure to subscribe if you like this content and my commentary. I also have a lot more other videos on the channel if you do want to check it out. If you did enjoy this video, be sure to drop it a like. If you did not like it, be sure to dislike it. I shall see you on the next video. Thank you all for watching.